This week, marking the one-year anniversary of the botched Afghanistan withdrawal that we saw. Dramatic video of Afghan citizens desperately chasing that U.S. military plane in an attempt to flee the now Taliban-controlled country, raising the question, how do U.S. veterans of the Afghanistan war feel 1 year later? Joining us now, former Navy SEAL who killed Osama bin Laden, author of the book, The Operator, Firing the Shots That Killed Osama bin Laden in My Years as a SEAL Team Warrior, Rob O'Neill. Rob, it's great to see you today. Thank you so much for taking the time. What are you thinking about, 1 year after seeing those striking images?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's not surprising at all. It's very disappointing. I myself, as a veteran, fought there many times along with other veterans. Predicted this would happen. It's a shame to see everything left behind, all the lives left behind. It was predictable and preventable. And we're seeing family members of some of those 13 soldiers who were killed on the botched pullout committing suicide. So it's a talking point for people in Washington and some in the media, but it's very, very real for a lot of families. I know a lot of Gold Star families that lost people there, and there are some families now that had family members die in helicopter crashes and shootouts and roadside bombs, and a lot of them don't even know the name of the person that team was going after. So you wonder, what we're doing there, why we can't do it, why is there a mission creep, why do we always change it, and why can't we ever win a war?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Those who had served and understand the country and maybe even had questions about, what was the intended goal of us being there to begin with. What's your message to them during this time who might be just questioning, was it worth it?
Well, it's worth it for the initial goal, which is to find al-Qaeda, to kill Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri, and to push the Taliban out. And we did that in the first 2 months. When I was there in 2005, living in Jalalabad city in Afghanistan, we could have left right then. We didn't need to surge like we always did. And presidents love to surge. And it's not just George Bush or President Obama. Surge. And we're a big believer in this is the way we've always done it. Like I said, we not only do we not know how to win a war, we don't teach our young people about winning. It's always about go in there, do this, now build schools. You're trying to build roads and valleys for people who do not want roads or Americans in their valleys. Not only that, they don't even know we're Americans. A lot of them thought we were Russians, and they thought 9/11 was a response to our invasion on their valley. Another problem, too, is with education. We don't know what we're doing, and we don't realize who we're dealing with. And it's unfortunate now with the Taliban. With this bombing we just recently had, the Taliban are going to punish them. By that, it means they're going to cut their heads off in front of their families. That's what they do. They're back, and then the women are back in the houses. The girls aren't going to school. It's a sad state of affairs, and you have to see it to believe it. That's what I was told before I even went. When I asked someone, what's it like in Afghanistan, they said, just go see it. And then when you tell people what it's really like, they'll think you're lying.
Wow. I mean, even what you described, the fact that they didn't know who you were serving for, which country you were representing, or where America is on a map, quite telling, just the differences that you can't even comprehend between the U.S. and Afghanistan. Let me ask you about this DoD Inspector General report, estimated about $7 billion worth of military equipment that was left behind. Now you look at who's in control of the country, the Taliban operating it. Does that surprise you? Or, the fact that it was just so much equipment? I mean, we saw, Taliban officials operating U.S. military gear, wearing uniforms days after the fall of Kabul.
It doesn't surprise me. And we're going to leave it behind because if you've noticed, with certain career politicians in office, we always have to have some sort of military stuff going on because we need the big contracts for the people trying to get reelected so that they can keep the self-licking ice cream cone going. So we'll leave the money there, which means now we need to build more Humvees. Now we need to build more helicopters. Now we need to build more guns. Now we need someone to sign the contract to get the money to someone so we can keep the military industrial complex moving. And they do it. I mean, we have Ukraine now. We're pumping money over there, which means we're making stuff here where someone's getting paid here. And then, in the next 2 years, there'll be the big election, and I'm sure we'll find a conflict before then so we can get people paid the right way, because they're never going to be on the ground in the first place. It doesn't really affect them except their pocketbook.
The fact that Zawahiri was living in Afghanistan, in Kabul, and we were able, thankfully, to take him out through an over-the-horizon attack, the drone strike there, eliminating him. But, does that worry you that there could be other terrorists that are being housed in Afghanistan?
Well, I'm not worried about other terrorists. I just know they're there, and it's important to be prepared for them. And I think it's great that they had the over-the-horizon intelligence to find him, because some very smart people at some of our three-letter agencies found him, knew his pattern of life, and knew where to hit him without hurting anybody else. So that means we have assets on the ground somewhere that help us, which is refreshing, because me personally, if I was in Afghanistan or Iraq or somewhere like that, Syria, where the USA uses you, put your family in harm's way, and then leaves, I wouldn't work with them. But someone's doing a great job, and my hat's off to them. And you know, as much bad stuff that's going on, President Biden made the call, so good for him. That at least he finally got a foreign decision right,
Sure.
or someone told him to do it or something. But yeah, I mean, that was a good hit. But yeah, don't think they're not in Afghanistan, living in Kabul, right near the embassies. Don't think they're not in the United States. They're in the UK. They're up in Norway. They're down in Mexico, looking at our border. We might be done with Al Qaeda. They're not done with us, and it's hard to say, but it's the truth. And some people don't like to hear the truth, but that's it.
You mentioned the border. You're referring to our southern border, where we're seeing an unprecedented number of crossings. Tell me more about that.
Well, again, I'm not encouraging anything, but if I was on the other side of the fence and I'm a bad guy, I'm coming across the border and I'm going to bring some friends that either have guns or suicide vests, and I'm going to find the biggest gun-free zone I can, and then start killing people. And it's a hard truth, and it's not fun to talk about. Believe me, I get no joy out of it. But instead of, the thing about Al Qaeda and ISIS and all those people that hate us, they don't care which bathrooms we use or our favorite pronouns or what color our skin is. We don't believe exactly what they believe as far as the law, and they haven't forgotten about us. And it'll be, we never forget until it's time, until we get attacked. We just keep forgetting to never forget. They haven't forgotten about us. We have the clocks. They have the time.
Rob, maybe we can try to leave this on a more optimistic outlook here. I know it's tough in this situation, but we've heard reports of the military struggling with some recruitment. What might you say to folks who are considering maybe joining, whether or not they should or not? What were the positive things that came out of your service for this country?
Making the decision to join the military, other than the first day, it was the greatest decision I ever made. The camaraderie, the people you meet from different areas, different backgrounds, different ways of life, and seeing what the United States can do when we focus on it. I would join now. The only reason is they're trying to get too woke and too green. Like little things like they want to make our ships green. Well, they're nuclear. You don't get any greener than that. Pull your head out, as we would say.
Right.
But there's still people joining. I have relatives that have recently joined, and they love it. The Marine Corps is doing just fine, too. So I would encourage it. It's a great way to learn. You learn how to communicate, how to ask questions, how to handle stress, and how to get the job done. So I'm encouraged as far as that goes. And we're as a country designed to win a war. I'm not concerned about that. But we do need to concentrate on what's important and not what's unbelievable. But people love it emotionally.
Yeah. There's some really good men and women who are serving to defend our country and willing to sacrifice the most to do so. Rob O'Neill, thanks for coming on and speaking with us this Friday. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks.
Thank you.